Hi everyone, it's Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 8, Shocking Events episode. So little teasers and spoilers and clips are starting to make their way out little by little. Not the big daddy of them all, not the Q&A that everybody's waiting for to see what happens, but we are seeing some things that are going to help us figure out what's going to go down in this week's episode. So I've got a few topics I want to talk about. First, I want to say thank you to everybody for being here tonight on this Tuesday evening. So we got another stream tomorrow night, and I do want to announce we are going to take Thanksgiving off. So we will get one day off, and hopefully you guys just have a wonderful time with your family. We're probably going to be doing a little bit of streaming on Friday, though. So if you guys in between shopping, just I know you're going to have the shopping rush and go out in the craziness, but have us playing in the background. Hopefully we'll have some good chat, some good dialogue. So Scott Kernan jumping out of the gates and says, Kills, is it more likely now about Jesus' death? I think it is. I think it's 100% likely. I know some people were saying, based on filming that Tom Payne has been filming, I think, maybe there's some reshoots or some things going down. I feel like this is this is it. I don't think he makes it past this episode. Not a lot of people are comfortable with that, but the whispers need to come in with a bang. Somebody's going to die. I mean, they got the couch seat reserved. But yeah, I do feel like it's I feel like Jesus is going to go. Well, there's a couple things with that scene that really makes it stand out, and that is the fighting's going on, but there's a couple whispers mixed in with that group that Aaron and Jesus are fighting. Yes, there's a chance. Look, I don't think the audience is too attached to Jesus, and maybe that's part of it, is they never really developed his character a whole lot. He's getting a little bit of airtime. I mean, he's likable for sure, but and I do think if there is something gruesome, it'll bother people, but I don't think it's going to be a point of like, oh my gosh, he's not on the show anymore. It's just my feeling. We got CPH says, It felt like goodbye when Jesus left Tara at Hilltop. Well, it did, because that's Walking Dead logic that we used last night. It's always when one person steps up and does something out of character that they shouldn't do, and Tara was going to go, and then Jesus said that he would go instead, and he'd take care of the stuff when he gets back. Just leads me to believe that he's never coming back. So I do think it was goodbye. Want to hit on a couple topics. These are not my topics. I think this is might have been Vengeance91 posted this, and I'm going to start posting some of your ideas just in the corner of the video. But we were talking last night, and I did not go back and watch the scene. But I know there's a lot being made about the X's and about Daryl and Michonne, and people are saying, well, they don't know that it was proven that Rick was injured. Did Rick leave the belt on the rebar? That's the question. He used the belt to pull himself up. If you guys remember, you want to go back and check it out. That could have been a clue too. If when Daryl's making his way back, we could have had the blood there. We could have had the rebar. So if they knew he was injured and they come back and they see part of his spleen on a piece of rebar. Oh, that sounds so bad. I'm sorry to say it that way. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to still go with that. I'm going to say that the X's are just branding marks, and they're a tribute to Rick because they knew he was they knew he was injured. I think I said interested. I'm reading somebody else's comment. All right, let me get to the next topic. There are some small clips that are out about this week's episode. One of them is a scene between Father G. Sorry, Kimberly G. Yeah, I shouldn't have said it like that. Father G and Negan. And I don't know if everybody's seen this yet, but apparently Negan is being his typical self. He makes a comment about Father G's eye. He says, I don't really know which one I should look at. So, he's just pushing him, insulting him. And then Father G lays into him a little bit and basically says, Rosita's injured. She's at the hilltop, and I can't even go and check on her because I'm here watching you. Will he leave the cell unlocked? Will this be Negan's escape moment? Or will Negan just stay there? Let me get your thoughts and comments in this video, please. While we're doing that, I am going to give my extended plea to all of 999 Army. Do me a favor, everybody, pike the like button, hit it, make a choice, get this thing rolling. Let's show a little bit of love and support for the 999 Army. Drama King says Negan leaves the cell. William says Judith will let him out. Jessica says I would say stay. Well, some people are saying he's escaping. But it would say a lot about Negan if Father G leaves the cell unlocked and Michonne comes back or somebody comes back and he basically says, I could have gotten out, but I didn't. Now, that sounds like a good story, and it sounds like a similar story to the comic book, right? Where Negan will stay. However, do we even have time for all the little cool storylines from the comics? I mean, that's what I'm really worried about, is that the Whispers are going to be fast and furious this week. I don't know that we're going to get back to all the little minutia, like the details that are out there with Negan, why he stays, is he in prison, what's going on. I feel like trouble is brewing really quick. But I could be wrong. And I'll tell you why I could be wrong in just 1 second. Scott Kernan says, it seems as if Negan has been planning his escape. It seems like Negan has been trying to manipulate in a Negan sort of way. But at this point, and think about this, it's kind of a two-part question or an extended question. Does Negan even want to escape? If you say yes, tell me why, and I'm using the word escape very intentionally. Does he want to escape and get away? I'm going to agree. I don't think he wants to escape. I think he wants to get out. And there's the difference. I think he wants to get out. Exactly. Northside. Where would he go? I think he wants to blend with the community. He wants to show. Well, Viola, here's the thing. I mean, you say, yep, he hasn't changed. Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Nobody's going to follow him. See, here is the beauty of Rick's vision and Michonne carrying out Rick's vision. No, I don't. I use the word escape. I'm not saying does he want some freedom. I think there's a difference there. The beauty with Rick's plan to lock him up is after 7.5 years of him being locked up, who's going to follow him? Leave your thoughts and comments right now. Negan gets out and he wants to build up a little group and do his own thing. Who's he going to recruit? Give me something legit here. Nobody's following him. Saviors are gone. They're burnt down. I mean, even if there is, I don't think Negan has a quest for leadership any longer. I think it's time to just let it go. There is no saviors. There is no sanctuary. There is no second coming of Negan. Now, a different storyline. Can Negan be a fighter? Can Negan be a... Negan can be a sergeant. He can't be a general. You guys following kind of the direction here? He can make snap decisions with a small group of people. He can't lead a society and a community. And I think that's what he's going to be called on to do. Especially if some of the spoilers, this is just some tidbits from Spoiling Dead's fan page, not confirmed as of yet. It's just some thoughts they were rolling out there. So when I see some of their thoughts or hear some of their thoughts and they're not coming out saying this will happen, that type of thing, then I'm going to say it's probably more than 50% likely it's going to happen. But apparently, Daryl, Michonne, Carol may all be taken hostage with an injured Henry, is what I've read, what I've heard. Now, this looks to happen sometime around episode 15. So there's a lot that goes down between now and then. So don't bank on it just yet. Now, if you've got those three, and we don't know where Rosita is, we don't know if she's still alive at this point, we don't know there's Jesus, who will save Daryl, Michonne, and Carol? And if there's an injured Henry, it stands to reason that Henry, you know what, I don't even want to discuss this. Whew. Okay. What if Henry gets decapitated, or what if Henry dies in front of Carol? Can you imagine? That is going to be as bad as Glenn dying in front of Maggie. So apparently Henry is stabbed. Henry is injured, and Daryl, Michonne, and Carol are restrained. Whew. Coma drug, even if she flips out, can you imagine them not being able to do anything and having to watch that? How brutal, how epically brutal that would be for television. Now, I'm just throwing it out. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen that way. But even if it doesn't, who's going to save him? Negan definitely would be a strong possibility, right? How about Dwight? How about a Negan and Dwight reunion? Is that a possibility? I mean, that would be an epic comeback, wouldn't it? Ezekiel? Tara? But wait a minute. You guys are forgetting about something. Who are you forgetting about? I'm just throwing Negan out there and Dwight, and I'm hearing a couple other people. But, come on. Come on, keep trying. Aaron, yeah. No, come on. Not Judy. Getting closer. Not Jerry. Come on, people. Have you just forgot the group that we got introduced to? Did you not see the scene at the end of last week and saw how awesome Magna and company are? They're legit. And Magna might feel she needs to pay a little gratitude. A little bit of trust there. Scott Curtis says, RJ. Yeah, I got you, man. Westwood Chronic with Super Chat says, Tara will save the day. Wrote no writer ever. Yeah, Tara's got to stay and lead the hilltop. I mean, I don't think they brought Magna's group just to hang out. They brought them to get involved. I don't think they brought Magna's group just to get captured either, or just to die. I think their group might be the difference in getting 3 big players out alive. Derek Dixon says they need to fight more aggressive and guns. Magna's group is ruthless. Slingshots, Yumiko's bow. I think they can get the job done. Scott says, but Dwight has been gone for 7.5 years. That is correct. But I did make a prediction. I think Dwight has been tracking them. I think Dwight has been watching them. I think while they have been whispering, I think Dwight knows a little bit about the whisperers. And I don't think he came back because I just don't think they were a threat. And I also think that Daryl told him, don't ever come back. I don't care if you are sorry. I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. I mean, Daryl basically exiled him. I don't feel like Dwight is done. But Magna, I said she would be the next coming of Rosita. Back when Rosita was cool. Back when Rosita was awesome. Before Rosita got doe eyes for Father G. She lost her toughness. Magna's got that toughness now. The torch has been passed. Mist, I do feel like Rosita. I don't feel like Rosita's going to make it past this season. I really don't. I've given multiple reasons why I don't think that's going to happen, but I think her arc is done. I think the whole love thing, Eugene loves her, she loves somebody else. It's just complicated. And Scott says also, Morgan's probably dead, been 7.5 years. Yeah. It would be... Look, I ain't going to lie. It would also be cool as hell if John and Morgan and June and Alicia showed up and built them out. I'm not big for crossovers, but look, there is a time skip. And they've had plenty enough time to get back to Virginia. And Fear has not time jumped that far yet. Even if it was just like John and Alicia, they showed up and you could be like, okay, well the rest of them probably died in the last 7.5 years. I'd be totally cool with Fear jumping in there. John slinging the pistols and then shooting Beta right before they get a chance to kill Henry. Joka, Rick ain't coming back, though. You know that. Oh, no. James Palette. No. My friend James. Fear is not dead. Fear actually had very good ratings last season if you take the live plus 7. And they had some episodes, they were well over 2 million. Now, I don't love it like The Walking Dead, but I love talking about it. So, a few of you guys who says, who are saying like fear is dead. I just got a question. How many were kind of religiously involved in our live streams last year? Big Dinger, I don't remember seeing you. Thomas D, how many were involved in our chat regarding fear? Because I'll tell you, the people that I feel like committed from it, or committed to it from day one, and got involved in the chats and a little bit of the story, I think there was entertainment value. I think there was enough to follow, to talk about, and certainly made the show more enjoyable to me because there were just a lot of good sidebars and good chats. I think it enhanced the show. Now, I'm being a little biased because I think our group is great. Valar, hello 99 Army, Kill, Steph, Kales, Emmy, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, patrons, of course, all super chats. Welcome, Valar. Thank you for being here. Scott, I was the one who brought it up. You're the one who brought what up? You lost me. What is it? What are you referring to? Fear? I'm going to have to follow back up with Scott. No, all I'm saying is, those of you that look, there are a lot of people checked out after season 3 of Fear. And we just sort of made a commitment to go back and watch last season, start to finish. And I think the people that did enjoyed it. We didn't have a lot of people bailing halfway through. And in fact, we had a lot of people that I think it rekindled it a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, when Walking Dead's getting 7 million and Fear's getting 2, but keep in mind, it was still the number 2 show on AMC. So it ain't going anywhere. There's enough of a fan base. So, yeah, Scott, I think you're going to see some fans come back as opposed to decline. Viola McGowan says that would be exciting for Fear to cross over. Yeah, because, I mean, there are several strong characters that still have some value. So I would like to see it. I am just super cool with the time skips. I know some people are not, but it just makes me think a little more, makes me dig down a little bit. So I don't think Rosita dies this week. I really don't. But we have to start doing something that it's a little bit uncomfortable. Because we know some of the information. So if we know some of the information, we got to start connecting the dots to get us to where we want to go. You guys remember the funnel analogy, right? The reason we came up with the helicopter theory is because of the funnel analogy. We threw a bunch of things out there and we started weeding it, and the things that we saw and the things that we knew went down, and we went 999 CSI. So we're going to do a little bit of that tonight, and that's why I think it's going to be a little shocking. Scott says, could see up to 5 more spinoff announcements. I think that's, no. I think there's no way there'll be 5 more spinoffs. I think they're going to focus on the 2 they have, Scott, and at best you would get a 3rd, but they don't have the writing capacity and they did better when they started bringing last season, getting Gimple over, getting Gale. I mean, the story was better. If you do a 3rd, it's going to water it down. Stick with the movies. Right, Zelda? I mean, that's how we came to love Mel. Mel became a fan favorite. Scott says has to be one sacrifice and one murder at least for season 9. So that's a 2-part super chat. All right, so how many people are, 400, 500 people here? First of all, how the hell can we have 500 people here and only 125 people slap the like or the dislike button? Make a choice, everybody. Hit one or the other. I don't care which one you hit. If 100 or 200 of you want to hit the dislike button, but just do something. All right. There's my fired up approach. Okay. How many people are new? And if you're new, you got to subscribe. And if you're also new, I want to lay a couple ground rules of how we roll here. Because I have to explain the funnel philosophy. Philosophy. I was going to say there's no P in philosophy, but there actually is. You get it. You know what I'm saying. See, you guys got me all worked up here. I'm fired up. So, all right, we're going to funnel this down. We know that in this episode, we have Aaron, Jesus, Daryl, Eugene, trapped in the woods late at night. All right, that's a given. We also have heard that there will be a trade. We also heard that Michonne will kidnap Lydia. These are things that are out there. They're floating. They're very strong rumors. So with that to kind of be our guide, we're going to fill in the blanks and get to a very, very viable theory of who lives and who dies. So we'll get back to that 1 second. We've got Sheila Max says, Kills, who's your favorite on Fear and why? John is my favorite. I wished he talked a little bit faster. Instead of, the Scrabble scene and the Z's for pizza. I just need John to, I need his inner, just talk a little bit faster, John. That's all I need. Other than that, I like him. Derek Dixon says, killing Nick and dumbing down characters ruined it. I had no attachment to Nick. I was done with Nick, to be honest. And let's be clear once again, though, Derek. Killing Nick was not by choice. Frank decided to leave the show. So, when he left, there was nothing they could do about it. But no, I was done. I was done with Nick. And to be honest with you, I was done with Madison too, because I'm just tired of the oldest son, drug addict, relapse, Mama loves Nick more than she loves Alicia. Mama's always going to gravitate toward Nick. Alicia's going to feel left out. Alicia's like, where's my hug, Mom? Blah, 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 blah. They kill those two. Bam, now Alicia becomes a badass. And I like Alicia's character. I didn't like that Alicia was always in the shadow, and it was the same storyline playing out over and over and over again. And that's why I liked last season. Last season, I thought there was some really cool coincidence. There was some more, the special effects was better. I don't have to, watch, wonder if Nick's going to sneak around and get more drugs. And, I couldn't do it anymore. But, look, hey, this is just my opinion. That might not be the popular opinion for everybody. And the web episodes, yes, and the fill-ins, I didn't like those. Westwood Chronic says, Z Nation gets renewed with 500K views an episode. Fear the Walking Dead will be fine. Yeah. Let me say this again. Fear the Walking Dead, with their live plus 7 views, they have over 2 million viewers. So a lot of times when people are putting up those numbers, they're not correct numbers. Because Shock Television and YouTube wants to go out there and say, Fear is bad, it's terrible, it's declining, they're losing viewers. I'm going to say this again. And then I'm getting to Chris Riddle. Why do I care if other people watch a show in order for me to get enjoyment out of it? Think about that for a second. It blows my mind when people do these videos and they talk about how bad something is to try to convince other people that it's bad. So I'm gonna ask a follow-up question to that in just a second. So we've got Chris Riddle says, I think they have captives for mid-season, no deaths. I definitely think they're going to have captives, but I think that's going to be a little bit later on. We'll talk about that. I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor. Just hold on for 1 second. This is as real as I can get. Take the fact that viewers... Look, here's why shows exist. People like the show. Ad people spend money to put commercials in there, and they pay a lot of money for that. We watch the commercials. The show gets renewed. All right? How many people need me to tell you what to like? How many people need me to tell you what food to eat? How many people need me to tell you where to shop? How many people need me to tell you which show to watch? Probably none. So it doesn't make a damn whether other people tell you that people stop watching. It doesn't matter. If you like the show, watch the show and tune out some of the other noise. The only caveat to that would be I actually asked several people last year to say, look, I'm going to give it a chance. You guys come here, hang out. Let's all watch it together and talk about it. And I felt like because we did that we sort of kept each other in check, that we balanced it out. That if there was an episode I didn't like, I felt like some people were like, hey, Kills, let's watch it, and vice versa. And we did ratings. So, when and it's contagious. So when one person does a video and they talk about how bad Fear the Walking Dead is, you know what happens? People that don't have content on their channel, they regurgitate that same video. And then somebody else does it. And they're like, well, 3 or 4 people are talking about how much it sucks. I don't want to be left out. Let me do a video and talk about it. And next thing you know, there's like 20 videos of everybody talking about ratings that they don't know jack about because they don't actually look at the ratings. And when I started seeing that last year, I did a little bit deeper into the Nielsen ratings. And when I saw the Nielsen ratings, it was a good season. It trailed only the first season. The first season because it was new and there was a lot of excitement, and then it tapered off, and last season was a comeback. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Now, let's get back to the funnel philosophy, how we do it. All right, so we know, or we think, that there's a possibility that Daryl, Michonne, and Carol could be captured. It's unlikely that they will be captured in 8 and be hostage 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 for 7 episodes. Very unlikely. So, if that's the case, and Scott, I'm going to gloss over this one really quickly. Appreciate that super chat, but Stradivarius was the 3rd lowest episode. It's all good. It was a good episode. It was a bridge episode. It's a filler episode, and the mid-season finale, I think, will more than make up. If one is down, I think the mid-season finale is going to boost it up because they're already hyping it as one of the most frightening Walking Dead episodes ever. So I think people are going to tune in for that. I think they're going to want to see the evil, and I think there's going to be a good story. It's going to tie into it. So if we know that there's some hostage situation, that means there's going to be a little bit of a repetitive plot line or coincidence that goes down. Meaning that some people are in the woods, maybe they get out of the woods, some people get captured, then they got to go back and follow them, and then they got to go rescue. So that could get cumbersome. Not going to lie. It could be... if it's not done correctly, we could get to a point and say, come on, man, this is the third time Daryl's been out in the woods to save somebody. Right? That's the way I would say it. So, if this episode is too dark too fast, my question is, does the fair happen? If there's like just a lot of killing going on, and there's a lot of capturing going on, and it's wide, it's spread out there and everybody knows about it, I don't think the fair would happen. And as much as they've been talking about this fair, I kind of feel like the fair has to happen. Would you guys agree with that? Well, Ron, they've talked about it multiple times. The fair seems to be a big deal. So I think if everything that happens to these people that are out in the woods, if it's violent and they're discovered, then the storyline's going to completely change. Thomas D. says, Negan saves them from Whisperer lineup. That's a possibility, Thomas. I'm not going to disagree with you. I do think that could happen. Right. So now I got you guys kind of thinking, right? We're thinking about, okay, well, if they're captured and there's other events going on, doesn't make sense, and we've got all these badass characters that Magna could go save them. So that leads me back to what happens this week. And if it is a fairly small group, they could think that there's a lot of possibilities. If Jesus dies, and Aaron gets away, and Daryl gets away, and Eugene gets away, and let's say there were 10 of them, right? They get surrounded by 10. I don't know that Aaron would necessarily go back and, get all the communities together and say, oh my God, we got to stop everything. Stop growing crops. Stop the fair. Because, yes, you probably need to have a funeral for Jesus. But other than that, I think life goes on. Because I don't know they're going to understand the magnitude of the Whisperers. I don't know that 200 Whisperers are going to come out and surround them. Remember, we only know what we know. Now, as viewers, we have the luxury of knowing there's beta, there's alpha, there's more of them. This might not even be a beta-alpha type of throwdown. This might just be they get surprised. They get surrounded, they think it's walkers, and one of them pulls out a knife, and then surprise. Aaron could think, like, that's weird. Maybe it's some saviors. Maybe it's some Oceanside people. Maybe some people we pissed off. Maybe a couple wolves got loose. I don't know that they're going to see this. They're going to understand it's creepy, that it's not walkers talking. There are some people mixed in with this, but I don't know that they're going to know it's a lot of people. They're going to probably think it's just a few deranged people. So, Scott, that does tie me to my next point. They may not know until after the fair. So, if some people go out missing, it doesn't mean that everybody thinks they're all dead. So what we know, what they know at Hilltop, is 3 people went out, and Rosita will probably be the 4th that goes out. So, follow-up question. Does Jesus die in this episode, or do Jesus and Aaron get injured and perhaps get captured, and we don't know if Jesus is going to be the first person that's decapitated maybe in 9, maybe in 10. So perhaps we don't see it, but it is a foregone conclusion that it happens. Yeah, I don't disagree, Samantha. I think you guys are spot on. I think Jesus dies. I don't know how he's going to die. I have my own in my mind how I think it's going to play out. Jesus dies, Aaron captured. Very possible. I like that. Jesus dies, maybe ends up on a pike later on. Possibility. Sarah says, will this week be a cliffhanger? I hope it is. I hope it's a cliffhanger because I think we need about 6 or 7 weeks worth of stuff to talk about. I love them. I love the predictions and the speculation. I'll never get mad when there's a cliffhanger. Scott says he dies in this episode, but it's official in 9-9. So, if Jesus dies and Aaron gets away, and Aaron can go tell people about it, I think it changes a lot of the dynamic. Well, Patrick says, why Jesus have terror? Well, it's not a choice that we can make. I think if we could make that choice, we would definitely select somebody a little bit different. This certainly, I selected this photo. I mean, first of all, this was up on The Walking Dead's official Twitter site. But I love the Tim Burton type of background and the creepy entangled trees and Aaron petrified, and this looks as if a scene where he just heard like the whispers talking or something going on, or maybe validating a little bit of it. I don't know this is after a death or anything along those lines, but keep in mind some of the small stuff we probably won't get a chance to see. The sun does come up. Actually, the last time that we saw this kind of foggy scene was in 7-1. And it was Negan taking Rick for a joyride, and it was just a night that would never end. And the next morning, just what everybody was put through that whole night, you almost felt it. And I kind of feel like this is just going to be one of those long nights that never end. And Paris, I agree with that as well. Paris said the writers need to let the viewers know how evil the Whispers are by killing someone before the war. I think for that and other reasons, I think Jesus is not going to make it. I just don't know. I think it'll be implied, as Scott said a little bit ago, and I think the official scene, whether it's Aaron sees it happen. Aaron is taken captive. They don't know what's going on. It leads me to believe at this point, maybe, is it possible that, I guess anything's possible, but let me see what you think about this. Aaron and Jesus get surrounded. Daryl, being typical Daryl, wants to get Eugene back to safety, so they break off. Daryl's goal is to get Eugene back. Rosita, not having it. She leaves. That Rosita doesn't find Daryl and Eugene. Is it possible that Rosita actually stumbles onto Aaron? And Rosita and Aaron are the two that are held hostage that Alpha may use to barter later on. If that were to happen that way, I see a couple benefits to that. One, I think that if the death happens, if the death of Jesus happens and Aaron can't tell them how it goes down, then you would still have another day of normalcy where maybe Michonne gets back, maybe there's a dialogue between her and Negan. Basically what I'm saying is the sun comes up in Alexandria and we get a little bit more story squeezed in there. If it doesn't happen like that, I think everybody on Alexandria is high alert, the kingdom's going to be on high alert, and then you go straight into this war mode. And I have a hard time with some of the other predictions and spoilers that are out there of then Michonne captures Lydia, so it's kind of tit for tat. And then once she captures Lydia, then there's a trade. You got two of ours, we got one of yours, we'll do a trade, and then that scene happens at Hilltop. Apparently Daryl's back at Hilltop, so that would make sense if Daryl gets Eugene back up there. But we haven't heard anything about Aaron, Rosita, and Jesus being a Hilltop. So, just something I think could go down that way. Debbie Martin, I wouldn't say everything is Daryl's fault. I would say a lot of things are Daryl's fault. And he gets a free pass, so I have no problem with people calling it out when it is. But he certainly, his character does things that are very explosive. And sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. And I think Daryl's one of those people that you'd want to fight side by side with him, but at the same time, he means well, but it doesn't always end well for him. And I think it's a fair criticism. He's impulsive, but he means well. I mean, case and point. Robin, I don't even know if it's a case of being a hothead. I think Daryl likes to protect the underdog. But here's the reality. When Negan put the bloody bat in Rosita's face, everyone else was smart enough to take Negan at his word except Daryl. Daryl had to jump in there and defend Rosita. And I see the value in that. It's like, hey, and Daryl thought, you know what? He's going to kill Rosita, so why don't I jump in here? I don't think Daryl meant to protect Rosita. I think Daryl meant to die for everybody. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, right? But the problem is he underestimated Negan's unpredictability. And Negan knew the best way to punish him was to do exactly, Negan was a step ahead, was to punish somebody he cared about. So it just wasn't a very well thought out plan. He should have just stayed still like Rick, like Carl, like Sasha, like Maggie, like everybody else, right? He didn't have to do it. So that's why people will blame Daryl. Same thing. He drove the garbage truck through the sanctuary. Rick didn't want to do that. Rick had a plan, but it screwed up Rick's plan. He meant well, but it just didn't end well. That's the best I can do, to answer your question. So, And then there's some people, like Angie Homan, will say, I don't blame Daryl at all. And that's the problem, is he gets a free pass from some people, and he's overly criticized by others. And I think somewhere in there is the truth in his character. Just saying. I think it's a fair question, though. All right, let's see what else. Things that are going to go down this week that we might need to talk about. So, once we get to this capture scene, and then we realize there's other hostages, and whether people will be traded or they won't be traded, and then word gets out that they possibly killed Jesus, what do you think is going to escalate the Whisperer War? Dwarf, I don't think that's a bad idea. Alpha will trade Aaron, but kill Rosita. I think that is a very, very strong possibility. That if Rosita goes back out and in passing, she finds Aaron, I could definitely, we're talking funnel it down. Alpha shows up with Aaron and says, I'll give you this back for my daughter. And she gets Lydia back. Aaron goes to safety. Where's Rosita? And they use Rosita as a mile marker. Rosita becomes a boundary. Absolutely could see it playing out that way. And I'm going to go back to Walking Dead logic. It needs a catchy echo or something like that if we're going to make it like an official thing. The three characters that have went out of character, and well, maybe not out of character, the three characters that have infringed upon things they shouldn't. Number one, Jesus. Jesus traded roles with Tara. Means he's dead. Number two, Rosita. Rosita has a concussion, and she says, I got to go out there. I got to save Eugene. I got to do it by myself. Rosita goes back out. She's dead. And number three character, Henry, follows Lydia whenever Lydia is released and goes back to the Whispers, because they'll get to know each other a little bit at Hilltop. So Henry, number three, stabbed. Maybe doesn't die, but that's why when I heard this spoiler or rumor that's out there that Daryl, Michonne, and Carol will all be captured, it's probably when they go back out there looking for Henry. So Henry is the person that's going to get him in trouble once again, because he thinks he's doing the right thing. Rosita thinks she's doing the right thing. Jesus is nonchalant about it and thinks, okay, I'll just go out and do it. Tara, you stay here. Those are the three that are probably the choices we are least likely to make. And I think all three could die. I definitely think 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Maybe Henry survives it. Negan shows up. Magnas shows up. Aaron shows back up. Aaron, because Aaron was traded, Aaron could be the one to show him where the camp is. Possibility. So now we got that working for us as well. Randy Walden says, taking Judith hostage would really fire Negan up. What if Michonne releases Negan to help get Judith back? Randy, I'm not going to rule that out yet. I need a little bit more time to think about it. I did kind of throw an alt theory out there that the Whisperers could take Judy and RJ, or take Judy and that would strengthen the bond with Negan. But even if Michonne is taken hostage, I think that would fire Negan up as well. I don't think Negan would have a problem saving Judith's mom. I think that's a good storyline as well. Kay Hensley, I'm liking that. See, there you go. Now you guys are rolling here. Kay says Judith lets Negan out to rescue Michonne. That checks all the boxes, right? Okay. I'm going to walk through it one more time and see what you guys think about this. So we funneled it. Westwood Chronic, baby Gracie is hostage. Why reintroduce her? I don't think anybody from Hilltop's going to be taken hostage. I think Hilltop is off limits. For now. All right. Here we go. I'm going to try to see if I can remember everything we talked about. If you guys like this, let's stick with it. Aaron, Jesus fight this episode. Jesus gets cut, possibly dies, will die. Aaron gets captured. Daryl, Eugene make it back to Hilltop. Rosita's already on her way. Rosita gets captured too. We end the episode. We probably see Rosita and Aaron as hostages. So I like that. Then, word gets out there's hostages. Michonne takes Lydia hostage. The Whispers find out about it. They don't want to lose. Alpha doesn't want to lose her daughter. We get the introduction of Alpha. So, now they trade Aaron, kill Rosita. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that, but I like it. Whoever suggested that a little bit ago. Aaron gets traded off. We get that scene with the Whisper's baby. The baby gets dropped. Connie comes out, saves the baby. We know that goes down at Hilltop. But regardless, Lydia goes back. Henry follows them back. Henry follows them back. He gets captured. So now we got Henry captured, Aaron let loose. So basically, Henry is the hostage. Carol's not going to like that. So Carol, Daryl, and Michonne. So Daryl and Carol definitely, no doubt about it. Michonne goes. The three of them get taken hostage. Word gets back. Judy knows about it, or Judy sees it. Judy lets Negan out to go save Michonne. And then, I'm okay with it at that point. It may not work out that way, but it's believable. All right, so that's all I got at this point. That's not just me. That's all of you guys sort of piecing it together. Let me know your thoughts. 1 to a 10, how likely? I might get some ones here. Some people will be like, no, Rosita doesn't die. But it happened like that in the comics. Don't care. They can follow the comics except for Rosita. Kay Hensley says Judith lets Negan out to rescue Michonne. As we talked about Scott Kernan, what do you think happened to the Oceanside? Scott, I think Oceanside's gone. I think some of them merged in, some of them left. I don't think there's an Oceanside anymore. I think they're out. All right, you know what? We're all over the board. Debbie Martin's like, I don't agree with a damn thing you just said. I'm giving it a 1. None of it happens. That's cool. But some of it's going to happen. Like Jesus dying. It's going to happen. So we'll see. Hey, it's all good because, yeah, a lot of you guys thought the helicopter thing was wacky too. Man, did I catch some hate for that. Just keep his man bun intact. Fair enough. I'm trying to catch up on a couple of the other predictions and theories. Chris says, so you know for a fact he dies. I'm going to say that when Spoiling Dead fans put something out like that, And they didn't give all the details to it. They said he was stabbed by a whisper in a scene with him and Aaron. Well, I mean, it lines up. So that information, and I'll tell you where it sort of came about. So that spoiler came out 2 months ago, before this scene was ever viewed by anyone. No, it's not called a theory, Nerd Life. You're completely off. A theory is not when someone says Jesus dies that has credible information. A theory is, I think it happens. So let me finish before you chime in of the difference between a theory and a spoiler. So, Spoiling Dead said Jesus dies, stabbed by a whisperer. Surprise, it's the Jesus killing whisperer. Didn't say theory, said he dies. Period. And gave us the time frame it would happen. Now, anytime somebody puts a spoiler out there, you try to find validation behind that spoiler. So, the scene was a scene with him and Aaron. Now, there was no scene that was seen at that point. Then this scene comes out this week, and we see Jesus and Aaron in that situation, then it really gives validation to it. So they're saying it happens, that it did happen. Didn't tell us what the whisperer's name was that stabbed him. Didn't tell us, the setting of the moon, whether it's a waning crescent or a waxing crescent. But they said that's the way it goes down. So this is not me. This is them. What we're going to do is we're going to add some color to it. We're going to spice it up a little bit. And that's when it becomes a theory. So Kimberly Smith, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate that. No, I'm not just cracking down on Nerd Life. I'm just saying I want to be clear, what we're coming up with and what they're coming up with. And maybe I wasn't. Maybe it's kind of on me. But I want to let you know, this is something they put out several months ago. So when we do these theories, which you're correct on, is when we're trying to fill in the dots of saying, well, I have a theory that Jesus will die and Aaron gets captured. Now, we don't know that. We don't know what happens with Aaron. They've also said, as a spoiler, that Michonne will capture Lydia. So if Michonne captures Lydia, then we have to have a theory of why that happens. So is it going to be because Judy's captured? Is it going to be because, they have Rosita and they have Aaron? That part, that's where I kind of wanted you guys to sort of walk through it. 1189 Paris says, I think it would be more horrifying seeing Jesus' face on a whisper. It would be. So I'm going to ask you guys to 4 scenarios. Jesus lives. Jesus stabbed and dies. Jesus decapitated and put on a stake or a pike. Or Jesus becomes a whisperer mask. Pick one of those 4. And I just want to see where the group is at. Just curious. I think the mask would be creepy as hell. Especially if, hey, I don't know if they could do it like this, but when you hear, Tom Paine was filming, like, maybe 15 or 16, what if he was filming and it was him, but they made him look like, wait, I got to say this the right way. It's going to get as confusing as a time skip. What if they were really using him to look like a mask on a whisper? See if that makes sense. And that's why they had him. So instead of doing special effects and throwing a mask on him, they did special effect on him, and it was really like half his face and the other half as a whisper. That would be kind of cool. And you know what? They'd be paying for one more episode. So it's be like, come back. Instead of the special effects people making a mask out of you, we just decided to pay you for another episode. Paint on a pike. No. Stop. You guys are nuts. All right. Hey, I want to say thanks to everybody for being here. We got a little fired up tonight. I'm going to tell you, sometimes the passion comes out. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I appreciate, you guys and your theories and predictions. So once again, we know some of the spoiler information. A lot of the stuff we're putting in is filler. It's theory. It's not all me. It's bits and pieces what you guys are saying. So I'm hoping we can come up to just a really good situation. We will touch on it a little bit more tomorrow night. I had a lot of fun with this. We are going to talk a little bit more whispers. I mean, what else are we going to talk about this week other than the whispers? But I do want each and every one of you to be here tomorrow night. Look, I know people are traveling. I know there's things going on, but we're going to get one more stream in before the Thanksgiving holiday. If you have family in town, I understand. If you don't, and you're just hanging out, and you want to jump in here at 9:30 and hang out with us for an hour, I will be here. There will be no stream on Thanksgiving, so I wish all of you guys a happy Thanksgiving. If you're not going to be here tomorrow, have a wonderful holiday. If you are going to be here tomorrow, then have a wonderful stream tomorrow night hanging out with us. June Smith, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate you being involved in the channel, and a ton of people super chatted. So just want to thank each and every one of you. So I do want to say we're also going to stream probably a couple times on Friday. So I'll give you, like we did a couple weeks ago, I'm going to give you one of those like 1 o'clock streams, one of those afternoon streams. Just be ready. And, of course, we'll do our Saturday, and we're going to have a big, big countdown on Sunday as well. So I want to say thank you. I'm going to start out with the patrons in the top left-hand corner. You guys can see a ton of new patrons, 70 Patreon supporters. Unbelievable. This has been a great summer, a great fall. Appreciate everything that you guys do. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron, there's a link down below. Also, the sponsors in the top right-hand corner. You can't become a sponsor right now until YouTube opens it up for everybody. A few people did get in the door early. So if you want to become a sponsor, become a patron instead. Also, we've got super chatters. So we got a lot of super chatters. So I want to sign them. Give them some quick shout outs. Give me 1 second, everybody. A lot of stuff is streaming. So where are my super chatters at? We got a list. Want to say what's up to, let's get it started. Scott Kernan, CPH, Westwood Chronic with multiple super chats tonight. Scott with a ton. As usual, some good thoughts. Thank you so much, Scott. Appreciate that. Derek Dixon getting in the door with multiple super chats. Viola McGowan. Sheila Mack. What's up, Sheila? Chris Riddle. Thomas D. Randy Walden. Kay Hensley. Kimberly Smith. 1189 Paris. And June Smith. So thank you guys so much. We got some regular super chatters here. I love when they get involved. We'll get on the topic and then they'll type something and we switch topics and it just keeps the conversation fresh. And last but certainly not least, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I almost omitted the moderators. Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, always wonderful, in full effect. And everybody's here now. Give me a quick 999 so we can do a whole lot of shout outs. And actually, you know what we're going to do? Don't even give me a 999. Stop. Collaborate and listen. I want, give me your favorite Thanksgiving dish. Type that. So, what are you looking forward to for Thanksgiving? See, you guys are already typing nines, and I just totally flipped it up on you guys. Give me a Thanksgiving food that you guys are, yeah, see what I just did? I tricked everybody. So, Amy Ferrero, a little bit of dressing. Julia Muse with some gravy. Brando with some, oh man, Gamma is like beer. My Whisper supporter, Gamma is like taking faces off and drinking beer. It figures. Gene with some pumpkin pie. I love it. Khaleesi, banana pudding. Jim G, a lot of pumpkin pies. Bumblebee Brown with some sweet potatoes. Tammy, mashed potatoes. Come on, Dark Stark. You ain't eating no snake. Get out of my face, man, with that noise. Country Kitten, green bean casserole. Look, now that somebody said beer, a lot of people are saying beer. It's like they forgot that as a side dish. Mac and cheese. Awesome stuff. So I'll do some more shout-outs tomorrow. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being involved in this and just everything that you guys do. hopefully we'll see everybody here tomorrow night. Make sure you guys pike the like button. And I will talk to you all tomorrow night, 9:30. Have a good night. Peace.